Hiya! Welcome! A very exciting day for me today because I've received some VCLT, and this package here, which as you can see I have opened it but I've not looked in it, so everything, well not quite everything but I'll explain, but everything other than what I know I'm getting will be a surprise. This is a package of VCLT from one of my favourite YouTubers. I've been subscribing to him now for certainly over a year, maybe a year and a half getting on, but he just makes such good content. You know, it's straightforward, no bells and whistles, but he's just got such a naturalistic way of making videos, and you know, he's a genuinely lovely chap. I'd like to consider him a friend here in the vinyl community on YouTube now. I'm talking about Martin Harris. I've mentioned Martin a few times in videos over the past weeks and months. I do urge everyone who doesn't know him, and there'll be plenty of you who do, to go and check out his videos and subscribe to him. He does his vinyl updates every month at the start of each month, which I love. He does CD updates from time to time, DVD and Blu-ray update videos as well. He goes to a lot of gigs, and he goes to a lot of the in-store signings that occur in his vicinity, predominantly ones that are organised by his local record shop, A Slice of Vinyl. He gets stuff signed, like new albums from the bands and artists who are performing there, and then he'll show those in specific videos, as Martin is a bit of an autograph collector as well. But he loves his records first and foremost. I did send him some VCLT in return, kind of random stuff really. I'm assuming he'll make a video about it because he usually does, and even if he doesn't make a specific VCLT from Jimmy video, I'm sure he'll show what I've got in upcoming update videos. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave either a link for Martin's channel at the top of this description here today, or if his VCLT from me video has come out before this one, and I have a feeling it might, then I'll leave a direct link to that. But either way, please go and subscribe to him. Brilliant channel, absolutely stand up, lovely fella. Thank you so much, Martin, for this. So I know two things that are in here. One is a 12-inch single and the other is an album. He got them both as part of VCLT himself, ironically, from one of his friends. And the 12-inch single is from a group that he can't stand, but I actually love the single and I don't own it. So I said to him, I left a comment on that video of his and I said, well, if you're going to send that out to someone, can I have first dibs on it? And then the other thing, the album, is one he already has. So he had a duplicate and then he said he'll send that out to someone, so I claimed that as well. But then he got in contact with me after that and said, oh, can I have a link to your Discogs? I want to send you a few surprises. And I felt a bit bad really, because there's not a lot on my want list on Discogs, very little, and most of it is like bootlegs and stuff that you can't buy anyway. So perhaps he just scoured my normal Discogs collection list and kind of worked out what I didn't have, but that would have taken probably months to do. So, you know, he's probably just put in just random stuff really, but, you know, I'm so grateful to receive just the two things that I asked for really. Would have been absolutely wonderful, but the fact that he's put some extras in here, and it's quite a heavy package this, so I can't wait to get stuck in. Let's just get going with it, shall we? Right, so I'll get this open. I just sliced it open off screen before I started, just so that there was relatively little faffing around. Oh, there is a note. Oh good, I'm glad about that. I do like to get mail from VCLT senders, so I'll put my glasses on so that I've got a better chance of reading it. And Martin writes, "Hi Jimmy, ahoy hoy." That's his little sign on when he starts his videos. As promised, here are the 12-inch and the album. He has said what the artists are, but I won't read those out, so I'll let you see them as they come. I've cleaned and play tested them and they both play through fine, but there was still a load of crap on the needle after playing them, so you might want to clean them again. Yeah, I know all too well. I mean, I buy a lot of second-hand vinyl. I've been buying a hell of a lot lately, what with me filling in a lot of New Order collection gaps, and there was one record I played recently in particular, and I mean, it was affecting the sound, and I got up to look at it and see what it was skipping, and it sounded all kind of muffled and rubbish, and there was this great big lump of dust on it, and that was after I thought I'd dusted it myself. I should have given it a bit of a better clean really, but that's me, I live and learn. He continues, I've also added some bonus goodies which are all albums I have duplicate copies of for various reasons. Oh, that's amazing, thank you so much, Martin. I couldn't see them on your Discogs list, so hopefully you don't already have them. I mean, the fact that you actually went through my Discogs list. Now, I know my Discogs is relatively small compared to yours, for instance, Martin, and a lot of other people's, but there's still like over 1,000 items on there, so it would still take ages to go through. So the fact that you took the time to do that is incredible. I just kind of sent Martin random stuff, really. A bit of stuff that I know he'd be a fan of, but then other stuff that I think, well, I don't know that he likes this, but he probably would. But you'll see that in his video or in his update video, depending on what he shows it in. I hope you enjoy. Thank you for the kind words and shout outs you've given me on your excellent channel. All the best, Martin. Thank you so much for that, Martin. I really appreciate you sending me a note there. I shall put that down there and we'll get started looking at the stuff. Okay, so on top is the album that he's got a duplicate of that I knew I was getting. And it's a little bit of an unusual one for my collection, this, but I thought that I would have it off him when he said that he would send it out to someone, and it's Morecambe and Wise. So, yeah, it's a comedy album. I really do want to get more comedy records, to be honest. The only ones I've got, I think, and I'm pausing because I'm trying to remember if there's anything else that I might have forgotten about. The only ones I've got really is all the Monty Python records that I've collected over the past couple of years or so. And that collection isn't complete yet by at least 2 albums worth, probably more actually. But yeah, Morecambe and Wise, I mean, anyone kind of my age and older grew up with these chaps, really. Just comedy legends. I wouldn't have said we were big Morecambe and Wise fans in our house. We were more kind of 2 Ronnies, I think, you know, and although it embarrasses me to say it a little bit, I do remember watching a lot of Little and Large at my grandparents'. But yeah, perhaps they've not aged as well. But Morecambe and Wise, I mean, they've been going since at least the 60s, because I remember them doing skits with the Beatles and things like that. They've probably been going since the 50s, I'd have thought. It says selected items from the Morecambe and Wise TV show. A BBC record, so this would have been from their BBC show. They kind of flitted between BBC and ITV over the years. I think they're more probably associated with the BBC. Little look at the vinyl. I won't necessarily show all these records, as I'll keep this video fairly nippy, but yeah, I do like that yellow centre label. Feels relatively thick vinyl, that, for its age, because I'm assuming this album is possibly 1970s. I didn't actually look for a copyright date. 1971. I think that's the same year my first Monty Python album came out, and this one is in much better condition. That's an album that I think if I saw it somewhere, I'd possibly upgrade my copy, because that one is pretty battered that I've got. So there we go, it's Morecambe and Wise. That's one of the 2 things that I knew Martin would be sending me. Brilliant. Next up is the 12-inch. Martin can't stand this band. He's into a lot of different music. His taste is massively eclectic. I mean, I thought I had eclectic taste, but Martin, he does like an awful lot. But he doesn't like the work of this group, one of the biggest bands of all time, really. And to be fair, I'm not a fan of this band, but I love this single. I've been threatening to buy this single. I've been looking mainly sort of towards getting a 7-inch version, but I've been sent the 12-inch, and that's fantastic. It seems in really nice condition as well. the sleeve anyway. It is You Win Again by the Bee Gees. So yeah, I'm not a Bee Gees fan. This is actually the first Bee Gees record I've ever owned. Certainly don't like all their disco stuff, you know, the Saturday Night Fever era and Tragedy and all that lot. Some of their 60s stuff I think is pretty listenable. But You Win Again from 1987, one of the biggest singles of that year. It was a #1. I think, you know, it was kind of a second coming for them, really. And I've always just thought this was a brilliant pop single, really. I remember hearing it as a child years ago and enjoying it. And every time it's come up on TV or radio or wherever over the years, I've enjoyed it, and I've thought, well, I maybe ought to add that single to my collection. And now I have, thanks to Martin. The tracks on it, an extended version of You Win Again on side 1, and side 2, You Win Again brackets Fade and Back to Funk on the Warner Brothers label. A quick look at the vinyl. Lovely stuff. So thank you for that, Martin. Right, this is where it gets really exciting, because the rest of this is a complete mystery. Digging in. Feels like this is in a protector. Oh, wow. Wow, a banger to begin with. It sent me the Batman soundtrack by Prince, of course. Now then, I probably should have mentioned earlier, if there's one artist you can associate Martin Harris with, it's Prince. He is the biggest Prince fan, probably in this country, and one of the biggest in the world. He's done many, many Prince videos, and they're all really interesting as well. Not only showing his collection, which is gigantic, but also just talking about his love for Prince and the artist and his record label and his associated acts and everything else. I do urge you to go and watch. I watch all of his videos, any of them really, but his Prince ones are particularly interesting. Oh, that's fantastic, that. I do like the film as well, it's a great film. I've been threatening to get the Batman 4 film box set on Blu-ray. It might even be out on 4K now. I've got the box set of the films that came, you know, from the 2000s onwards, you know, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, etc. I've got that on 4K, but I want the first 4 films because, well, okay, the last 2 are a bit ropey, but they're watchable. But the first 2, this one and Batman Returns, the Tim Burton ones, are really good. Yeah, this has got on it Bat Dance, Arms of Orion, Party Man was a single as well. So yeah, a Prince album for my collection. Now, chronologically speaking, this isn't my first Prince album in my collection, but a records roundup I've already filmed, and Martin will be pleased about this. I did buy a Prince album, and it's one I've been threatening to buy for months and months now, but that's kind of a spoiler for a video that's coming. So before I confuse myself telling you about stuff that has happened to me, but you won't be seen on the channel just yet, I'll shut up about it, but that is excellent. Thank you so much, I can't wait to spin that. We've got another. Oh, lovely. Another album that, you know, this one is considered an absolute classic, really. One of the greatest of all time. And one that I really felt I should have added to my collection at some point. I do apologise that there might be some glare here, but I'll remember to take out the protector. But this is, of course, Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water. Thank you, Martin. Oh, an absolute classic album. I kind of feel a bit bad as to what I've sent Martin now, as there's nothing like iconic, really, that I've sent him. It's just stuff that I enjoyed, but I didn't mind it leaving my collection. You know, I wasn't sort of, you know, in love with it. But there were nothing kind of heavy-hitting like this. So yeah, Bridge Over Troubled Water, what can I say about that other than it's considered Simon and Garfunkel's best album. I haven't got a Simon and Garfunkel album. I think I looked for this on minidisc many years ago and the price was just absolutely outrageous. I nearly picked up 1 or 2 Simon and Garfunkel minidiscs, and I think just the price always went a little bit over what I wanted. But this album certainly was way above my price limit on MD, but I've got it on vinyl. That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Martin. I'm so pleased to have got that as well. Just some absolutely incredible albums and records here already. And we're not done yet. Oh, okay. So, admittedly, I'm not as familiar with these. I know them. Looks like kind of a sort of a greatest hits. But this is the immortal Walker Brothers. What's the year on this? Can't see. It looks 70s to me. It could even be 60s. It's been kept in nice condition. Has it been owned by someone called Cynthia in the past? Because it looks like Cynthia has been written on there. But yeah, I mean, I know some of these singles. Which ones do I know? In My Room. Although I probably know the Bangles version best. I'm assuming it's the same as the Bangles one. I'm doubting myself now. Make It Easy on Yourself, I know that. Dancing in the Street. I didn't know they did that. Genevieve, I've got a feeling I've heard. I may have heard almost all of these over the years somehow, but this is great. This just a nice thing to discover, really. You know, some good 60s pop, really. That is what you can say about it. I'm just getting the vinyl out. Yeah, it was owned by someone called Cynthia, look, because it's also written on the label. I do quite like that. I've mentioned it before. When I buy an old second-hand record and someone's, as long as they've not sort of scrawled all over it and just ruined the sleeve or the centre label, but I kind of like seeing someone's name on a record, an old record. I'd never do it. I'd never write on my own records, but the Wings single, Give Ireland Back to the Irish, has got my auntie's name on it, which is quite nice. Their writing, I just recognise it's never changed over 60 odd years. Not sure of the date, but obviously I'll look it up. Oh, I think this has come with some sort of insert. Oh, no, it's not. It's just the inner sleeve, and Martin presumably has put it in an anti-static bag as well. I'll look forward to listening to that. I've got a feeling I'll really enjoy that. I don't have enough 60s pop. There isn't the Beatles or the Stones in my collection, really. Or the Who. I've got a lot of Who as well. I'll just put this back in this protective sleeve before I continue, because there is at least one more thing in there. On we go. There's a few more things in. Martin said to me when he messaged me and we're exchanging addresses and stuff, he said, oh, I didn't send you much, you know, I didn't even think it was worth sending it recorded. I mean, I send stuff out recorded more as a matter of habit more than anything, just more for my peace of mind. But, you know, if people send me stuff, then I don't tend to worry. It's like, it'll get here, don't worry. And this did, in fact, he sent this second class, this arrived within 24 hours. And he lives all the way down south, you know, Hampshire. I live up here in the north, Derbyshire, and he only sent it second class, no tracking, and it came 24 hours later. Right, what have we got? Oh, another absolute classic here, wow. I'm getting some of like the greatest albums ever recorded here, and I don't own them either. He sent me Carole King's Tapestry. Yeah, this is another one. People just speak of this as like an iconic, well-loved, well-respected record. You know, this is sort of Simon and Garfunkel level in terms of public acclaim, really, isn't it? You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Yeah, she co-wrote that with Jerry Goffin and Jerry Wexler. You've Got a Friend. There'll be other stuff I know on here. Will You Love Me Tomorrow? I Feel the Earth Move. That's excellent. What year did this come out? It was early 70s, this, weren't it? There again, I can't see a copyright date on the sleeve. It may be a repressing, a reissue. That's absolutely fine by me. Now, the copyright on the disc is 71, so this might be original or thereabouts. Probably more familiar with her songwriting for others than I am with her stuff, but I know I've heard Carole King over the years, liked her voice, and you know, if you're going to get a Carole King album, it's got to be Tapestry, really, hasn't it? So, wow, just banger after banger here, isn't there? Martin, this is above and beyond, mate, thank you. It still feels like there's, I think, 3 things left. Well, oh, okay. This is Sheila E., The Glamorous Life. I know of Sheila E., and I think there again I would have heard some of her work. She was like in the Prince stable. I think she was on Paisley Park. This is a Warner Brothers record, which Prince was obviously signed to that label for some years. I can't remember if it was a recent video of Martin's or it was one that I watched from like his archive from some years back, because I've been delving into the Martin Harris on-demand section quite a lot because his videos are so great. I wanted to watch all his older vinyl updates as well as like the current ones that he puts out now. But he certainly mentioned this album in some videos that I've watched at least a couple of times, and he says what a great album it is, and he's obviously had a spare copy. Oh, it's come with a nice advertising insert there. Oh yeah, that's got some Prince stuff on it. Purple Rain, Controversy, 1999. So yeah, very Prince related this. Like I say, I'm not intending to get the vinyl out for all these, but just show you quite a nice green with a white border inner sleeve there as well. Looking forward to hearing this. I know Martin rates this as an excellent album, and with her being an associated artist of Prince's, she's worked with him and featured on his stuff and vice versa, no doubt. Martin's the expert, he's the one to go and ask about all that. But yeah, so happy that I've got Sheila E. Glamorous Life as well. Right, I saw what he put next. It's only another Prince record, and it's Parade. I nearly said Evolution Parade, and then I realised they've split the artist and the title down each side. So it's Prince and the Revolution with Parade. Wow, another Prince album. I've gone from having nothing by Prince in my collection, and I did used to have the gold cassette single when I was a teenager, to, you know, Batman soundtrack, Parade, also Sheila E. That's certainly Prince adjacent. This comes in a lovely gatefold here. Trying to think when this album would have come out. There'll be some copyright on it somewhere. It's not an album of his that sort of resonates in my mind, if you see what I mean. 86, so yeah, when he was really sort of getting to be a big international artist, really. Wonderful, that's fantastic. More Prince for the collection. I've been tempted, and really it's been kind of watching all these videos of Martin's that finally got the kick up the arse I needed, and I bought the Prince album that I'm not going to mention because it's coming in the next Records Roundup, because, you know, his passion for the artist, for the man Prince Rogers Nelson, is just so infectious. It's like, well, yeah, I've got to go and listen to some of his music as well. I'm so happy with what you've sent me, Martin. It's really kind. I mean, I know they're all duplicates and stuff you already own, and God knows how many separate copies of some of these Prince albums you've got, but that you'd send me some out your collection, I really appreciate it, my friend. I think we've still got one more thing in here. Yes, that seems to be the last thing. I'm trying not to look until I chuck this mailer away there. Alright. Oh, it's another comedy record, and he's a belter. I love Not the 9 O'Clock News so much. You know, I watched this Not the 9 O'Clock News vinyl box set unboxing a couple of months ago, and I was so jealous of it because I just missed the boat on that. Did it come out before I'd got back into vinyl properly? It might have been, or just on the cusp. I would have really loved to pick that box set up, and I've sort of looked for it since on the aftermarket, and it seems to be really expensive. But to get an original pressing of, I think, the first Not the 9 O'Clock News album. For those who don't know, Not the 9 O'Clock News was a BBC comedy sketch show, started in the late 70s into the early 80s, and basically established the careers of Rowan Atkinson, who I'm a massive fan of. I think Rowan Atkinson is one of the world's comedy geniuses in history, personally. And also Griff Rhys-Jones, Mel Smith, Pamela Stevenson. Music on here is mostly provided by Howard Goodall, who worked with Rowan Atkinson on things, and he's done music for all sorts of mainly comedy related TV and film. Even though it was a very satirical and topical sketch show that was often produced and made right up till the air date so that it could stay relevant to what was happening in the news, I still think they need to bring out the entire Not the 9 O'Clock News on DVD, or preferably Blu-ray. All that there's been DVD wise, and I've owned the DVDs before, I don't own them currently, but I've often thought about getting them back in my collection, are the two best of DVD compilations. I'd love to see the full series come out. BBC, make it happen, please. I think they did 4 albums altogether. You know, this will be a mixture of like funny music, you know, parody songs, and some of their best early sketches. Yeah, General Synod's Life of Python. I remember that sketch, I love it. I love the sort of punky typewriter type effects as well. Chris Langham was involved in at least the first series. I think he might have left by the second or certainly the third. Jim Broadbent, who I was in a film with, features on this as well. Yeah, so I'm just sat here marvelling at having this Not the 9 O'Clock News album. Martin, you've really excelled yourself in what you've picked here. I don't think there's anything here that I'm not going to at least enjoy quite a lot. You know, I think the majority of it I'm going to love. You know, the two Prince albums, Parade and the Batman soundtrack, they're going to be absolutely class. I know that. Sheila E., can't wait to listen to her and discover more of her work because she's someone I'm relatively unfamiliar with. Bridge Over Troubled Water and Tapestry. I think that's two albums that really I should have had in my collection many years ago because they're just staples for any vinyl collector, really, aren't they? And I finally got them thanks to Martin. And all the other stuff as well, the Walker Brothers, looking forward to that. Not the 9 O'Clock News, of course, and the Morecambe and Wise album and the Bee Gees single that I knew he was sending me. I am so grateful for this VCLT, Martin. I hope that you enjoy mine. What I've sent you was a fraction as much as what I know I'm going to enjoy what you've sent me. Thank you so much, mate. It's truly appreciated. I'm so excited to listen to all that, and I say that from the bottom of my heart with all sincerity. There is some fantastic work there. Comedy albums, 70s classics, 60s pop, and Prince. Martin's beloved Prince, you know. Absolutely incredible VCLT. So, thank you everyone for watching this. Hope you enjoyed this look at all this amazing vinyl that Martin Harris has sent me. Like I say, you'll see either his VCLT from Jimmy video at the top of the description, assuming that he's done one and put it out before this comes out. Otherwise, you'll just see a general link for his channel. Go over and subscribe to him. I can't recommend him highly enough. Just one of the most genuine and passionate vinyl collectors in the whole of the vinyl community on YouTube, as far as I'm concerned. He's become a real good friend to me. Support his channel, watch his stuff, and you won't regret it, I promise you that. I want to say special thanks to all my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. One more absolutely enormous thank you to Mr. Martin Harris for all that vinyl, the albums, the 12-inch single. So delighted with it all. I really am. And I want to ask that you will all join me again next time for my next VCLT receiving video, which I don't know when that'll be because it's not like I get VCLT sent to me by loads of people all the time, because I don't. But hopefully it'll happen again from someone. Reach out to me if you fancy doing some sort of exchange, or just you think I might like something. I'm not trying to scrounge here, honest. But join me for that, and of course join me for all my upcoming record collecting videos as well. Cheers everyone. See ya!